So when you have a couple of actually, when you have American Thanksgiving, excuse me, and none of your American guests come on, you call the hustle man. You call Mr. Andrew Patterson from Winnipeg Sports Talk and noted Kansas City Chiefs fan. We're going to get into that, but sir, we ready to talk some Thanksgiving football and a little side wagers as well?
Absolutely, dude. Yeah, I'm fired up. A great slate this Thursday. Like, if I could change anything, I would maybe take the night game and move it to noon and slide those other two games down. But I mean, Ravens Bengals is still good. Those teams hate each other. But I got to tell you, that Packer Lions game is massive. And I mean, Chiefs Cowboys, both teams coming off massive wins last weekend. This is going to be a real treat for football fans. Great day to take off if you can. Just saying.
Oh yeah, my plan is just to kind of like be done to where like I can do my stuff on the road that I have to during the day, maybe miss a little bit of the Packer Lion game, but really be home for that meat and potatoes matchup featuring the Kansas City Chiefs and the Dallas Cowboys. But no, between this and then even I have it on here, but the Black Friday game as well between the Eagles and Bears. If you're a TV executive with any of the networks airing these games or Amazon, you got to be smiling ear to ear, realizing that, hey, because when these games came out, we could have been getting a couple of these games where it's like, oh, there's not a lot on the line. But every single game that we have here for at least one of the teams in each game, there's going to be something on the line when it comes to playoff implications.
I mean, listen, with the exception of the Bengals, really. I mean, that's the only team that's not right in the middle of it, of those four games. I mean, the Packers and Lions are battling for the NFC North. The Bears, of course, shockingly. I mean, I'm not buying them personally, but they're 8-3. They're in first place, as are the Eagles.
Yep.
Chiefs and Cowboys, as I'm sure we'll get to, are both desperate for wins. And I mean, the Ravens are back. I mean, they were 1-5. They actually fell to an underdog to win the division for the first time all season.
Yep.
And like clockwork, bang, rattle off 5 in a row. Rest of the division sucks. And they're back on top.
Yeah, there's going to be some exciting football down the stretch. But no, before we get into the games, the one thing I got to say I really love about this season, and you and I have talked about this before with the CFL, how there's always parity in the CFL. You never, even though this year the favorite basically went wire to wire in the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and they ended up winning the Grey Cup. For the first time, I feel like in a very long time, you don't have an idea of who's going to win. You have an idea of who's going to be in the mix to be in Santa Clara come February 8th. But I feel like, you know how in years past, like, hey, for all we know, we snap our fingers, we're getting Chiefs Eagles again. It's very possible. But I feel like right now, when you look at the landscape of both playoff pictures, you can make a case for at least a handful of teams where it's like, hey, they have a shot to get to the Super Bowl.
Oh, I mean, just look at the future odds right now. I just pulled up CoolBet while we're having this conversation to see how things are looking. And there's only 2 teams under 10-1 to win the Super Bowl. Like earlier the year, there was like maybe 6. But it's as wide open. Like, to your point, the Rams are the favorite right now at CoolBet at plus 475.
Yes.
They're number 1 on my power poll. They deserve to be there. I mean, Matt Stafford is basically a lock for the MVP right now, minus 225 for the odds. He's got 30 passing touchdowns and 2 picks. And I kind of really thought that Seattle Rams game 2 weeks ago, even though Drake May was the favorite going into that game, whichever quarterback won that battle between Sammy Darts and Darnold and Matt Stafford would be it. And he was. And then obviously they just murdered the Buccaneers on the weekend. And it seems like he's that guy. But the Rams are the favorite at plus 475. Philly is at 6-1. And then listen to this. Kansas City, not even in a playoff spot right now, third on the board at 10-1. Indianapolis, 11-1.
Yep.
The Ravens, the Bills, the Seahawks, the Lions, all 12-1. The Broncos, 14-1. Packers, 15-1. Patriots, 15-1. And then a gap. And then you got the Niners at 30-1 and the Chargers at 35. So no clear favorite, like at a short number. Even 475 at this point in the year to be the favorite is relatively long.
Yeah.
But the group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teams in between 10 to 1 and 15 to 1 is an odds board unlike anything that I've seen in the last 15 years in the National Football League. So you're right. I mean, you can make a case for not just a handful of teams, but a good dozen plus that could very well be there at the end holding the Lombardi.
Which is wild because out of those dozen, 14 teams make the playoffs. It was only 2 years ago where, hey, a dozen teams get into the playoffs. Now, wait, 4, 6. Yeah. My math is good. It's Tuesday, folks. Get over it. But even though we're Canadian, we still have that Thanksgiving brain on our minds because of Thanksgiving football. But no, and for everybody wondering where Mr. Hustler gets good long shot odds, obviously for the CFL viewers, he took Nathan Rourke at very low odds. I believe it was 10 to 1 or 12 to 1 you got him at back in May to win MOP. And that cashed in nicely.
That wasn't in May. That's the crazy thing about that bet. That was made in the second week of August. Like, if you recall, Rourke going into the season was like 4 to 1, maybe to win the MOP.
Yeah,
was right there as the favorite. Might have even been shorter than that. And then, whatever, they lost those 2 games to the Bombers. He got hurt. He missed a game or two. And then you sort of get into that point where they were right there. And it was like, oh, Bo Levi Mitchell's having a great start to the season. Trevor Harris is there. We're sitting here looking at this 11 to 1 number for Nathan Rourke going like, there is so much football left to be played.
Yep.
How in the world is this not like, I'm a Winnipeg guy. I'm not really a BC backer, but I realize how good he is. It just seemed like a number that you had to take advantage of to cover yourself if he ended up going on a run, and he did exactly that. So yeah, that was a nice one. Non-football, my favorite future I have right now, and this was a preseason, NHL number 1 pick, Matthew Schaefer, the day before the regular season was 17 to 1 to win the Calder Trophy. I mean, I think everyone just so hyped up, you know, the big markets, Toronto, Montreal. Well, Demidov,
everyone was over Demidov.
Demidov was like plus 175. And then there was a bunch of guys. And I'm like, this Schaefer guy, I mean, he's the number 1 pick. If he has a good season, he'll be in the mix. He's now like minus 250 to win 21 games in. He was 4 to 1 after the first 4 games of the season. People saw him playing 26 minutes. I don't want to go down a tangent or a rant, but that was a beauty one. And I love futures, particularly when it comes to the National Football League. And as much as we think of those things to do at the start of the season, this is a perfect example right now, the NFL odds board of how, you know, there is some value to be made. Like, I'm a Chiefs guy. Like, I've got Chiefs tickets. It's plus 650. It's 7 to 1. Never thinking that, you know, they have the season that they've had, and particularly the last couple of weeks where people sort of fell off them. I can make an argument that they're a great value at 10 to 1 right now. But again, it's just so weird with all of these teams. Like, if I told you that any of the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Bills, the Lions, even the Broncos or the Packers won, I don't think anyone would be shocked. They're all at longer numbers now than they were a month ago and even at the start of the season. So the futures board has some pretty enticing options for you right now in a season where literally, as we mentioned, there's a huge number of teams that you could see winning the whole thing.
Yeah. And then the best thing too with, and we'll get into this, but like with Kansas City right now, it's that not vulnerability, but it's the term I've heard where it's, you gotta kill the cockroach when you have a chance, because you don't kill it now, it's going to multiply. And in the case of the Chiefs, and I'm not trying to say anything bad about that metaphor, it's just hey, you have a chance to put them away, or you're not going to do it. If you let 15 get hot right now, because look, we all know with playoffs, no matter how well your season's gone, you and I just experienced it with baseball. Unfortunately, it ended terribly. With both of us actually, I believe, been having attended World Series games as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I went to game 2. I saw the first of the Yamamoto experience, which was, I mean, listen, it was incredible. He was brilliant. I mean, you realize you were seeing history, and it was sure fun to be in and around downtown TO for it. We all wish they would have just gotten one more play done and finished the job. It was so damn close. That was so much fun.
And I get to say that I was the lucky boy because I was at game 1 the night
Oh,
before.
game 1, that was the party. That was the party.
A fun night at the Dome indeed. But no, I basically mean from that sense of just, you know, it's about who gets hot at the right time in the playoffs. Like right now for me, like obviously I'm a Pats fan. We're 10-2, making Bills Mafia crash out, which is honestly a really fun joy. But at the end of the day, if like that's why I still feel like the sports books have them at the 15-1 odds that they do, because they see 10-2, but they also see too, hey, it's the first year out of a rebuild. They only won 4 games last year, to where it still is a long shot for them to get there. But every single sports book you go to make the odds on Kansas City, that's why you still see the 6-1 to 10-1. You're not seeing, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I also got to thank you too, though, because you gave me the title for today's show in I Love Futures.
Yes, well, here we go. I mean, it's a good time to get into it. Yeah, I mean, listen, the Chiefs, you got to be nuts. I mean, and every time they lose a game or two, people are just so excited. They want to be the first one to write, the dynasty's over, this team's done, time to rebuild. And then you have a game like Sunday that makes people think maybe it's better to be right than be first. The old Big J journal adage. Listen, and I'll tell you what. I mean, when it comes to the Chiefs, like Mahomes, like they had 2 turnovers in that game, deep in Indianapolis. Incredible play by that defensive player. Like his name escapes me. Batted it up and got that incredible play. That's going to happen every now and then. Big time players make a play. What can you do? And then, of course, a fumble on the 2. Beyond that, the Chiefs really owned that game. But what was the most impressive is like Danny Dimes. He was Indiana Jones for the first half. I think at one point he was 16 of 18, 2 touchdowns and about 190 yards. When things got real in the second half, the Chiefs defense looked as good as it had been all year long. They completely shut down Jonathan Taylor, which no one's been able to do this year. And Spags started dialing up the blitzes, forcing Dimes to throw right off the bat, and he was out of rhythm, and it just didn't happen. So, I mean, listen, when it comes down to it, with the game on the line, the season on the line, I'll ride with Mahomes. But you can only do so much yourself. He's got weapons now, and he's got a defense that's playing well. It drives me nuts. They take a stupid penalty on every special teams play, basically. And that's Dave Tube's got to figure that out. Because, I mean, even in the game last week, oh, great, they're getting the ball back. Punt, another half distance to the goal line. I mean, that winning drive started on their 7-yard line. Yeah. So sometimes they're doing some things that are not doing them favors. But if they clear that out, they can beat any team in the NFL. Whether they will or not, we'll see. I mean, as I said, there's enough other teams that are wide open. But, I mean, when we talk about the Patriots, and listen, it is what it is. If teams have weak schedules, it's not their fault. If you're a 3rd or 4th place team last year, you're probably looking at a really soft schedule. Let me introduce you to the Patriots, the Broncos, the Bills, or not the Bills, the Bears, and even the Colts to an extent, being in that AFC South. Like, I will be honest. I mean, if the Bears win their division, Patriots, I have got more respect for the Patriots than maybe the Broncos or the Bears, because I love Mike Vrabel, and I think he's building a great team, and I think Drake May is really good. Listen, I'll give Bo Nix his. I mean, and I can't believe this is coming out of my mouth, but the week before, he outplayed Patrick Mahomes in that game. Mahomes wasn't great, and there's a couple massive 3rd downs that was the difference in the 4th quarter. And I was happy I was at the Grey Cup that day. Pissed off originally I was going to miss the game, and then happy considering it went. But I did go back and rewatch it, and listen, it is what it is. But there's a lot of people that are just waiting to fade a Bears or a Broncos. And some will say the Patriots as well, being a young, unproven team, as in the first round. Like, if those teams all win their divisions, it'll depend on who they play, but there's a chance that all of them are home dogs in round 1 of the playoffs. I mean, that's totally on the table, especially when you look at kind of where the books are feeling these teams are right now in the landscape of the NFL. But the records tell a very different story, and that's why this final stretch, starting with the big Thanksgiving Day slate, is going to be so interesting.
And let's get right to it. And also having music to my ears and making me smile like someone in school when you see your crush for the first time. You're making me blush with all that sweetness to Drake May. We got a Packers and Lions game, and now heads up for everybody. This game usually started at 12:30 Eastern, but now it's starting at 1 o'clock Eastern and 12 noon for where my friend Andrew is in the great Las Vegas. But you have Detroit versus Green Bay. I love when I pull out the touchdown scores and you have not one, not two, not three, but four guys who are all minus the number to get into the end zone. And the highest one is Jahmyr Gibbs at minus 190 after yet another cycle performance on literally 48 hours ago. But when it comes to a game like this, there's a weird part of me that thinks I would love, and I think Detroit can win this. But I also think, too, that Green Bay can easily walk into Detroit and pull one out because we all know the Lions and Thanksgiving doesn't have the bad luck. That's where I don't know how much of a Family Guy watcher you are, but there was a joke that Brian made years ago where it's like, for some reason, was in a zoo and a lion in capture. He's like, hey, shouldn't you guys be in Detroit losing a football game right now? So, it's just like, I feel like this honestly is a coin toss game. Out of all the four, this is the one where I look at it and I'm like, hey, this is the coin toss game.
I love Detroit in this game.
Yeah.
I love Detroit in this game. I think that, I mean, I kind of thought that it would probably be 3 or more. I mean, the fact now it does seem, I will say this, you look at this and like, this is a rat line. They're begging us to take Detroit. That being said, I still like them in this game. Like, I like Detroit more than I like Green Bay. Green Bay, listen, with Parsons, and Parsons is really cooking right now. I mean, they can get to the quarterback, but I don't have a lot of faith in the Packers offense as much. I mean, I think Jordan Love's kind of been up and down so far this season. Obviously, Josh Jacobs missed that last game. Their backup came in and had a strong game, which is great. Their receivers have all been hurt. And listen, if you want to hang with the Lions in the Dome, you better be ready to put up high 20s. Like the Giants.
I think 30.
I agree. I mean, I think and what's the total on this game?
52.5.
52.5. Yeah. I mean, not surprised that it's a big, big number. Although I'm actually seeing 49, 52.5 for Chiefs Cowboys.
I obviously can't use Coolbet because it's not authorized in Ontario. So I've been using I've been looking on TuneBet. I also have FanDuel for props, but I've been seeing, FanDuel's got 49.5. Yeah, but some sports books have 40, anywhere from 49 to 52 or where these totals are going.
Yeah,
like even Baltimore Cincy is 51.
I'd feel a hell of a lot better betting the over at 49 than I would at 52 or 52.5 for this one. But I think, listen, Green Bay got Detroit good in week 1. I think they've been waiting for this game all season long. And listen, it's much like the Chiefs, like the Lions are out of a playoff spot right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to win this game. And listen, I'm just going to say this right now. It was fun to watch Jameis Winston get back in, and they pulled out all the stops and did some wild stuff. Still managed to blow their 5th double-digit lead of the year, an NFL record. Unbelievable. But I kind of feel like they were already looking ahead to Thanksgiving, knowing it was going to be a short week and thinking Packers.
Yeah.
Gibbs is just a freak right now.
49 fantasy points.
We were doing, in a full PPR league, it was 60. I had it going against me in one of my leagues. Not fun to pull up the score line on that one. But really this game to me is the Lions announcing to everyone that they're still very much a team to be reckoned with. I like the Lions as much as almost any team in the NFC overall, to be honest. But here's the thing. They're so good at home in the Dome, which is where they're going to be. They're not really outdoor cats, particularly Jared Goff. So to me, they have to find a way to get on a run here at the end of this season and win this division. And it does not happen if they don't win this game. So I like it. Just speaking of touchdown scorers, as you mentioned, I mean, you got Gibbs. You'll love this. we were doing lock shop on Friday beforehand. And I said, hey, Dusty, do we have a line for Jahmyr Gibbs to score 3 touchdowns? And we went and looked at it, and, like everyone else is like 20-1, and Gibbs was barely 6-1.
Oh my God.
And I kind of laughed about that. And I'm like, man, that's a pretty short number for 3 touchdowns, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. Just sure enough, what happens? He goes for 3. His is a short 9. I'm looking at Coolbet if you're outside of Ontario at -179. They expect Josh Jacobs to be back. I think they sort of rested him last week, knowing that they needed him to be good to go.
Yep.
But it's funny, Emmanuel Wilson's at -135. So that kind of tells you that both of those guys could be involved. David Montgomery's always a guy that can get in, does a lot of their short yardage, although Gibbs,
I would take him because so much money is probably going to be coming in on Gibbs. I'm not saying fully commit. I'd sprinkle a few dollars on a David Montgomery touchdown.
I tell you what, who I will definitely be getting a piece of to score a touchdown in this one. It's a guy that didn't catch a pass last week, and it's Jameson Williams. This is one of the biggest hot or cold players in the NFL. And if you'll notice that when he has a real quiet game, they make a point of trying to get it to him in the next one. And he's not a guy that needs 7, 8, 9 catches or targets to hit the end zone. He is a threat every single time. His average yards per completion is probably as big as it is for anybody in the NFL. Just doesn't get a lot of them. But he's a +190. So I certainly like him. And I'm still sort of trying to figure out the rest of it. I mean, with Laporta out for the season, they don't really have another tight end that's sort of stepping up. So I think that's another thing that's going to play into Jameson Williams' hands, in addition to Amon-Ra, who's still in plus money at +108. As far as the Packers go, I mean, it's the running game. And then okay, who's playing at receiver? Because it's so doubt. I know Watson, since he's returned, has had a couple ones. The guy that I'm the most partial to in the Packer receiving core is Romeo Doubs. And Dobbs just seems to be a guy that Love trusts the most. So, I mean, I guess if I'm looking on a Packers side of things, I think I might go with Dobbs. I'll be playing Jameson Williams. And the thing with Gibbs is, if you want to make any money, you basically have to bet him to get 2 because it's such a short number on him to get in the end zone.
No, I got FanDuel has +330 for 2+, but they also have +430 for first touchdown.
Oh, that's not bad. The first touchdown markets are a bit of a, it's a lot tougher to hit that one just because there's so many other variables. You could not even get the ball, and it could be off the board because someone's got it if it goes the other way.
I've literally hit 2 in the last 3 years. One of them was in the Super Bowl. I hit OBJ when he was with the Rams against the Bengals. I hit that one, and I think I hit a random when New England Patriots legend Ezekiel Elliott. There was a random Thursday night game of Patriots Steelers, and I just you know what? Let's just do it. Let's have some fun. But I guess we're both on the Lions to roar loud indoors. But I'm gonna get right to this because I've had this game circled for a while. Chiefs Cowboys. They could get 50 million viewers. There is one bet, though, when I look at on the market that I'm just I need more of it. +460 anytime touchdown score. In his first ever game in his hometown at AT&T Stadium, Patrick Mahomes to run one in. I know it sounds crazy, but I feel like if there is to have him have a signature performance on a stage as big as this, it is going to be the game. This could be the game. I'm not saying the arrival, but more of a, oh, he's back kind of game. And I can see him just wanting to have a statement victory in such a prime spot. But also, too, like we said, the last time that the Chiefs were in Dallas, he was riding Alex Smith's coattail. So I think he's going to want to go out there and have a big game in this one.
Yeah, listen, I'm with you. Now, whether that means running one in or just going crazy passing, if you want the local ties, let's not forget about Hook'em, former Texas Longhorn,
+200.
Xavier Worthy at 2-1 +203. I'm seeing right now. He's definitely a guy. Listen, to your point about Mahomes, and sometimes the scenario, he's banned from doing QB sneaks because the one time he got hurt was on a sneak, and they have never snuck him again. And that was 4 or 5 years ago. It's just off the table. They don't do that.
Yeah.
So it really does have to be one of these scramble situations, usually in that red zone.
That's
so
what I was going for.
But listen, this is a game against a Cowboy defense where I think they know the Cowboys will get theirs. They'll put some in, so they're going to have to score a lot of points. And, whether we're talking about MVP, whether we're talking about reminding everybody who the man is, this is the perfect opportunity for Mahomes to do it up. Like, I think he's going to go crazy through the air. He's plus money to get, like, his passing total is like 269.5. 279.5 is plus 108. It is important to note that I believe Isaiah Pacheco is going to come back. He feels like he's going to be ready to go. Like, Kareem Hunt had 30 carries in the game against Indy.
Yep.
His average was terrible. He barely had 100 yards, but he carried it 30 times. So maybe that's a little different. But where's the Mahomes touchdown passing number? That is what I want to see. Mahomes passing touchdowns. Over 3.5 is plus 153. Or sorry, over 2.5 is plus 153. Over 3.5 is plus 449. And Mahomes is the sort of guy, like, once he gets on a bit of a run, he'll be more than happy to. What's the Chiefs got their motto, EGE, everybody got to eat.
Yep.
And this is the sort of game on Thanksgiving where I think everybody will eat in some ways. And it's interesting, you could see Rashee Rice is minus 120.
Another local guy, I believe.
Kelsey, exactly. Yeah. Well, we all remember what a knucklehead bit that he did that cost him heart of this season.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right. Rashi's the other guy coming back. He was I believe SMU guy.
Yes.
And then Kelsey's at plus 126. Pacheco's plus 177. Worthy's plus 203. Hollywood Brown is plus 379. So, I mean, I might even sprinkle the board with those guys and put one on everyone, but I will definitely be on Mahomes to get the plus over 2.5. And I think at that number, for a nice serving of Thanksgiving, to go over 3.5 on that one. And listen, the Dak numbers, like Dak's passing numbers, 258 is his total. And the
264 is his pass and rush.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't really do a whole lot of rushing in general.
Mahomes is 293.5, which I really like, passing plus rushing.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think he could get that just with the passing alone. The rushing numbers, I actually hit a nice prop last night on Bryce Young rushing total. It was only like 6.5 yards. He had like 15. But Mahomes, if you do think Mahomes, and Mahomes is always so good, it doesn't really normally happen around the goal line, but he's the master of, well, not a lot going on. Oh, I'll just whip out here. I'll juke a guy. Oh, he just ran for 13 yards. His total 21.5 at minus 119, 26.5 into plus money, 31.5 at plus 190. I think it probably ends up in and around 25, 26 for that one. But he could absolutely do that. So I will be locking in a lot of Mahomes, and then I think sprinkling some touchdowns on some of the other Chiefs players.
There's one other Cowboy player who I really like his touchdown odds, just because I know he's not been having the best year, but I like at plus 135 CeeDee Lamb to get into the end zone. I feel like, like Javonte Williams minus 155, George Pickens plus 155. CeeDee Lamb's he hasn't had too many bright spots this year. Obviously, he's been at a lot of drops and stuff, but I feel like on a spot like this is one where he can really find a way to get one in.
Yeah, he's a primetime player. They'll certainly be trying to feed him. I mean, I think it's not lost on a lot of people that they're spending all this money on CeeDee Lamb, and George Pickens is number 2 in the NFL in receiving yards right now, and he's going to be getting paid as well.
Handsomely.
In the last game against the Eagles, Pickens had 9 for 146. CD was 4 for 75. So, yeah, you're right. And now CD's often getting the top corner on the other team. So maybe that's opened things up for Pickens. But Pickens is a playmaker. I mean, part of the reason why Dallas is in it right now has been they have improved their run game somewhat, but Dak's had an amazing season. I do have a Dak future, 12-1 preseason to lead the league in passing.
Ooh.
And he and Mahomes are right behind Drake May, but May's played that extra game.
Yeah.
So I think come Monday or Tuesday of next week, once we get through Thanksgiving weekend, when you look at the passing yardage, whoever has the most yards in this game is probably going to be number one. I think Mahomes is up on Dak by like 36 yards, I think. So, if Mahomes has less yards and Dak has to, throw, especially if there's lots of garbage time or whatever, he could very well be in that mix. But both of them having really good seasons, and their teams have needed every bit of it because there's been a lot of other things on both sides that haven't gone well all year.
Yeah, and I think for this game, I don't even have to ask you who you think's going to win. I do think this game is a matter of if you win, winning and losing is the difference between playing December playoff football and having that comfort. But Kansas City knows how to win and at the right times, and I think they pull one out here. But I'll say this, though, if Dallas for some reason were to screw around and win this one, it wouldn't shock me either. How do I say this? You know how back in the day it was you can't bet against 12? Well, now it's you can't bet against 15.
Yeah. And you know what? Listen, a few people have done that this year and it's paid off as well. I mean, there's a couple ugly losses that, you kind of like, how did that happen? I mean, the Jags one still blows me away, but that was more in the defense. They went down, got their touchdown, and then all of a sudden Trevor Lawrence went in and, had his best drive of the entire season, winning at the end. I don't trust the Jags still, for the record. But for this one today, yeah, I mean, listen, I'm feeling Kansas City. I do think it'll be a game that'll be, we'll be watching it in the fourth quarter. I mean, they're not going to be handing out the turkey legs after 3. So the 3 points, I mean, you'd love to get it less than that. Maybe you're just doing a money line parlay on those 3 games. But I will be taking the Chiefs, and I will be taking them against the number as well.
I have a bit of trust issues with the Chiefs and spreads throughout the year, so I'm still
big time. I get it. Yeah. I get it.
Every time I think they're going to cover, they don't. But I feel like this could be a game that they win like 35-31, something like that, where it's like Dallas is like it's like a respect game for Dallas if they lose. Like I can't see a world where this game is Dallas getting the belt. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that one. And then the nightcap, which looks like we're getting Joe Burrow back. I think it was the same thing as you were alluding to with Isaiah Pacheco. I don't think he played Sunday against the Patriots because they're playing Thursday night against Baltimore. But a player who I want to take his touchdown, but it's minus 120. But I might parlay that with his over in receiving yards at 92.5. Jamar Chase is some of his best games of his life on Thursday nights. Remember, there was the game last year in Baltimore where I believe he had like 246 yards and like 3 touchdowns. I thought putting his yards at like, he's going to get like 80. He'll be fine. And then no, he decided to explode for that before halftime. So I think the Ravens are still going to win this game. But I really like the Bengals at the plus 6.5 number. But also because with divisional games, when spreads get high, I'll always lean the underdog just because, look at what Miami did to Buffalo a few weeks ago. Like when New England had their arrival game, they were plus 7.5 against Buffalo. I know I'm using Buffalo examples a lot because I like to. But even I look at a game like Black Friday last year, I believe the Raiders were plus 7.5 going into that one. Obviously, the Raiders are terrible this year. But when it comes to divisional games, when the spread's high, I always have to lean the underdog. So I do think the Ravens win, but I do think the Bengals find a way to cover the number.
Yeah, listen, I'm here for the return of Burrow. And I hate the Bengals. I think like that team, over the last couple of years, ever since they won that one AFC championship game against the Chiefs, they've talked so much shit. And
they're the kid who peaked in high school.
It's sort of blown up on them over the last couple seasons. I think Chase is one of the biggest morons in the league too. I mean, spitting on Ramsey at the end of the game and getting suspended. But think of that. He just got suspended last week. He's coming back. Joe Burrow's coming back. They have absolutely torched the Ravens in the past. Ravens haven't looked particularly good in these past couple wins since Lamar came back. They got the win, and that's all they need right now. I'm with you, though. I think it'll be a nuclear game for Jamar Chase, especially considering that T. Higgins is, I mean, he got carted off. So, I mean, he's not going to be this week. And I guess we'll find out whether he returns at some point this season. You would have liked to have had T. Higgins in the game if for no other reason that he commands enough respect that you can't just put everything towards Chase. But Chase is so good. And when he's clicking with Burrow, we all know exactly what's going to happen. And they'll just keep on getting him the football. So over receptions, over yards, touchdown prop, everything Chase for this game. And yeah, I'm with you. I think I will be taking the points with the Bengals. As much as I respect the Ravens and I think they're good and I know that they'll be a tough outcome playoff time, they're not even close to their max level right now. And the Bengals, this is their Super Bowl, and the Bengals aren't going to the playoffs. I mean, bring Joe Burrow back and stick one to their rivals. They'd love to do that. So it wouldn't shock me if the Bengals found a way to win this game if the Ravens offense is somewhat pedestrian. The Bengals can't stop anyone if they're playing well. We'll probably get a ton of Derrick Henry and they'll just run it all over and make it happen. But I'm with you on the Chase hunches, and certainly I think the Bengals anything a touchdown or more.
Yeah, and also the other thing I'm on to, I have it listed. So various sports books have it listed at 51.5. I think you hammer that. I don't think you think twice about the over in this game because you got to figure, even if you can easily see like a 30-24 or like a 35 to 28 or like a 41 to like 37. Like, I know I'm just belting numbers out, but like these are two teams where one defense is terrible and had a bit of an outlier week last week because the Patriots kind of shot themselves in the foot. But the Ravens know how to play the Bengals. Like, I think it was last year, it was like 35. It was 35 to 34 because the Bengals tried to go for 2 in that same game and missed. And then there was the overtime game. I think it was like 43 to 40 or something like that. So, this is a game I don't even think twice about the total. But with the Ravens, though, they're going to be that team that they've been playing with their food a bit to where they've been playing some easier opponents. They do have to play the Bengals twice. They have to play the Steelers twice. I wouldn't put money on them to win anything long term right now. I still think they need to fix a few things, but when you look at what they're doing, they for as good as they are to find a way to win a game, they can also find ways to lose a game, as we saw against Buffalo week 1, Buffalo last year in the playoffs. So I think they'll win this game because they're obviously the better team than the Bengals. I think the Bengals are just headed towards, you got to scrap it. There's going to be a new coach there next year. There's probably going to be a lot of question marks to that team because a lot of guys got their money. But all in all with this game, I think this is a great nightcap to end it. And funny enough, it is NBC, but no Chris Collinsworth on the call. Apparently he doesn't like to work Thanksgiving.
Oh, interesting.
Jason Garrett will be doing color with Mike Tirico.
I think he did. Was it his 500th game or whatever on the weekend? And he brought back the Collinsworth slide, which was nice to see. Just a quick note on that one. I had a $25 free bet kicking around. I'm just thinking about this. I think this is going to be one of the best Thanksgivings ever. I just parlayed all 3 overs. Over 49 in the Lions Packers.
Yep.
52.5 in the Chiefs Cowboys and 51.5 in the Bengals Ravens. More than 6-1. Let's bring the points.
Life's too short to bet the under.
We can chow down on that all day.
Oh yeah, and then we cap things off Friday afternoon with the Black Friday game. I'm going to say that with this one, total's only 44.5. I think we get a little bit of a lower scoring game, like, because you got to think about it. Like, the Eagles' offense hasn't been exactly flashy this year. Bears, it's the same thing too. I think this game is going to be more about which version, because you have one quarterback who, like, look, Caleb Williams is good and has all the tools, but for every good thing he does, he might do a couple things that make you question yourself, especially if you're a Bears fan. And then you have Jalen Hurts, whose press conference quotes are like something out of a fortune cookie, where I've literally heard people say where it's like, was this a Jalen Hurts quote or was this something you get out of a fortune cookie quote? But I'm going to say this. I think there's a world, though, where the Bears get the belt in this one. I don't like saying that all that often, but the number is 6.5. And something about that number kind of screams to me the sports books think that this is a get-right game for the Philadelphia Eagles. So I think we either see the Bears shock the world and squeak one out, like the Cowboys did 2 days ago, or the Eagles kind of run away with this one. That's the two worlds I see. But
I got so much respect for Ben Johnson and what he's done. I mean, the way that they're finding ways to win these games. I mean, I think they still have a negative point differential. They're 8-3. I mean, they back-to-back 25-24 wins at what point? So it's sort of crazy. I am not a believer in the Eagles. Now, maybe this is just my being mad that they beat us in the Super Bowl last year and can't stand them and legitimately hate Nick Sirianni, the coach that I hope fails the most. But listen, they have been, for a team with the record that they are, you're like, watch these games and like, how the hell are they doing it? I think they've only outgained the other team 3 times this season. So look, the defense is legit, but I mean, they've had some miracle wins, 2 blocked field goals against the Rams. And I think they sort of, their time was up. They pushed their luck so much, and it finally bit them last week against the Cowboys, blowing a 21-0 lead. AJ Brown's not on the same page as Jalen Hurts, and the running game has disappeared. Saquon Barkley had a historic season last year. This year, they could barely muster up 50 yards. So I have no faith in the Eagles whatsoever. At the same time, I'm not buying anything the Bears have been selling other than finding a way to stay on the right side against mediocre competition. So at this point, I'll have to dig more into this game. I think the Eagles win the game. I would be shocked if the Bears went in and upset Philly. But I was shocked that they blew a 21-0 lead last week. And I know Ben Johnson from his time with Detroit, they spent so much time focusing on Philly and Philly's defense. He'll have some things cooked up. So maybe I will ride with the Bears plus 6.5 in that game, and hopefully we'll have sort of an exciting afternoon game. But the time will tell. The games on Thursday, I'm focused on first, and let there be points and big wins for Kansas City and Detroit for sure. And I would love to see Cincinnati spoil the party in Baltimore.
I only had to throw in the Friday game just because I'm not going to be recording between now and then. So that's why I figured, hey, it's like there's 4 bases in baseball, so we covered our bases here on today's show. But no, I'm really looking forward to the Thursday slate. It's going to be exciting. That Cowboys game is always the most watched game of the year. They got Post Malone, I believe, doing the halftime show as well. You got the CBS A crew calling the game, and I like, it's not talked about just like how I want to bring it up, but I really feel like it basically trickles from the bottom, from the top down with this one, because there's so many Dallas ties to the Kansas City Chiefs, with the Hunt family, I believe, having mostly residency and living and growing up in the Dallas Metroplex in the Fort Worth area. Then you have Patrick, who's from Texas. You have Rashee Rice from Texas, Xavier Worthy from Texas. I think Hollywood Brown's Louisiana. But you really have a chance for 2 teams to show their worth. But for Kansas City, this is a game when I basically learned that the Chiefs and Cowboys were playing this year, I was like, it would be stupid of the NFL not to put them on this game here. But with Kansas City from here on out, this can kind of be the game that either you win this one and the sky's the limit, or you lose this one and you have to go into Sunday Night Football against one of the best defenses in the NFL and the Houston Texans next Sunday. But which is weird. I realized I think they're doing back-to-back trips. Or is that game next weekend? Is that game next weekend in Houston, or is it in Kansas City?
It's at Arrowhead.
Okay, I was about to say, if back-to-back weeks in Texas, that would have been something else for them.
Mm-hmm.
But no, basically the Chiefs, they control their own destiny. Every team here pretty much, that's the best thing about this though. Like, even if the Bengals go into Baltimore and squeak out a win against the Ravens, this, over the next 72 hours, the NFL script writers as a whole could completely flip everything on their heads before we get a crazy Saturday in college. Before we get, I don't know why the NHL did this, but, we have 1 game tonight, 15 tomorrow, nothing Thursday, obviously, and then 15 on Friday. And then you go into a weekend of NFL where the slate's not really the best, but any given Sunday for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, the Sunday, I mean, the Vikings are pretty much done, but there's Sammy Darnold going up against his old team. That's an interesting one. You got the Raiders and the Chargers at it. Bills Steelers is a big game for both teams. And
I love Pittsburgh on the number on that one, because it's the Mike Tomlin vulnerable spot where If you look at Mike Tomlin as an under, he loses the games he's supposed to win, and he wins the games he's supposed to lose.
Yeah, and then of course, whenever I see these teams play, I think of the old early days of Thursday night football, garbage teams, color rush unis, the old AFC South Super Bowl,
The
between
mustard
the
Jags.
Titans and the Jags. I still don't trust the Jags. Would not be surprised if, like, of all, the home dog on this one, I'd count me in for Tennessee plus 6.5. Although Tennessee hasn't been helping anybody, although they did cover last week against the Seahawks and showed a little bit of life. So, yeah, man, some big games. Houston or Texans Colts is a huge game on the weekend as well. That's a Sunday noon start, and that'll be big. But the main courses are coming early, Thursday and Friday. Cannot wait for it.
This is the perfect weekend for you and I, because obviously you play Thursday, Patriots play Monday Night Football. So what do we get to do Sunday? We get to kick our feet up and just watch Red Zone all day, and it'll be wonderful.
Stress-free. Hate watch the other teams in your division.
Oh, it's the best. It is truly, truly the best. Well, he's been on here a few times, folks, but Andrew Hustler Patterson, it is a blast as always getting to chat with you, because I know we can talk a little bit of everything. You and I, we do our stuff with the CFL, we do our NFL fandom, but we all tie it together to make one great show.
You got it. Well, hey, thanks a lot for having me, Griff, as always, and enjoy the Thanksgiving Day spread for football fans coming up on U.S. Thanksgiving Day.
That's the thing. You know what? It's U.S. Thanksgiving, but we get to enjoy it too. There's basically the plots of their game where it's like, which I don't understand why. There's two things about American Thanksgiving that boggles my mind. One, why they eat dinner at like 2:00 in the afternoon. And the other one is having a side dish of mac and cheese. I don't know if that's us and Canadian not understanding it, but that's just two things of Thanksgiving I've never gotten with the people in the States. But you know what? We'll enjoy your football.
Yeah, eat lots, and hopefully we'll get lots of scoring. Overs across the board. Serve me up that.
Eat lots, bets lots responsibly, and win lots. This week with U.S. Thanksgiving. For the Hustle Man, Andrew Patterson, I'm Griff. This has been episode number 410 of YWC Football Talk. Happy Thanksgiving to all our American listeners. We'll see you for the rest of week. What week is it? I'm week 12. Jesus Christ. It's week 13. Football flies by and I hate it, but have a great night, everybody. And like I said again, happy Thanksgiving.